Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us because another one bites the dust. Aitor Karanka has gone. He has, we think, been fired from Birmingham, but we are waiting for word from the club. This has been very, very leaky this afternoon. We think the meeting has taken place. We think Karanka has gone. A few of the Birmingham sort of channels went with it first, and now some of the big guns have gone for it. Sky Sports there. Aitor Karanka is no longer the manager of Birmingham, Sky Sports has been told. We've had it from John Percy. A couple of my friendly Birmingham contacts have said the same. So, look, after Friday and Chris Wilder and then waiting seemingly a day and a half for it to actually be confirmed, I'm just going to run with this because we assume we have this on pretty good authority. Aitor Karanka gone from Birmingham, and that is why the state of play. Birmingham in 21st position. They lost 3-0 yesterday at home to Bristol City. And now, if we go on points per game, Rotherham you can see there with 4 games in hand. If Birmingham and Rotherham and everybody else down there at the bottom of the table performs to their points per game across the season, then Birmingham will be relegated. Obviously, that may not happen and Rotherham may not push, but the Birmingham ownership, Trillion, has decided that they feel there's a serious risk now. I'm trying to read their minds, but it looks like the type of sacking of, okay, we could realistically go down here if we don't do anything, and perhaps if we do change it, we might get a little bump, a couple of wins, and that may be enough, may not, who knows, to keep Birmingham in the division. What went wrong? What the hell went wrong? You can see there at the bottom, Karanka appointed 31st of July. What I've done is, if you look at the top there, that's the last 14 games of last season. Birmingham didn't win any of them. Only 7 points. Only Hull, who went into complete freefall after getting rid of Krissy and Bowen. Only Hull were worse, and most of the other teams were quite a lot better than Birmingham. And it did feel at the end of last season, Pep Clotet didn't last out the season, did he? And there was just this sense with Birmingham that, okay, they think they've got enough points. And I remember Clotet going and the bench being full of like youth players and stuff at the end of last season. Like they gambled and there was a rising tide and they could have got caught by it in the end, Birmingham. But they did indeed stay up. But there's been warning signs here, and a lot of people have said there's been warning signs under this ownership for a long time that a bad appointment or a couple of bad seasons, and this is where Birmingham might indeed end up. Jude Bellingham there goes, which allows Aitor Karanka to try and build his squad. By the way, Karanka was here in the Championship before with Middlesbrough. Excellent player, by the way, Karanka, and worked centre-half, and he worked with Mourinho at Real Madrid, and his teams were known for defending. Karanka knows defending. That Borough team was miserly. They got up. Didn't work out in the Premier League. He left. He then has a go at Forest, another slightly eccentrically run club where it seemed like for a while every January Forest would have a new manager, give them a load of new players, and then fire them next January and then do the same thing, rinse, repeat. However, from Karanka's January to January, he got Forest away, and they were, I think at the start of December it would have been the 18-19 season, wouldn't it? They were up the top of the table, but fallout in January over transfers, Karanka goes. What I'm saying is I thought this was quite a good appointment when it was made. If he performed his track record, as in Borough towards the top of the table, okay, they were a parachute team, we get that. Forest, well, they spend. We know they spend. He had them up the top as well. Birmingham a little bit different. Not the financial muscle, maybe. And of course, with FFP infractions and punishments being incurred, maybe he was never going to get the money. But he did get a rebuild here. Look, Hogan, he'd been on loan there the previous season and done pretty well. Cosgrove in January, who just hasn't been used either, has he? Etheridge, proven championship keeper there. Lecco, potentially good player. Friend, who he had before at Borough. Terrell, I think he'd been at Birmingham himself on loan, actually. Sanchez, who's played a lot of games on the wing. Prieto hasn't really played, but Clayton, another of the ex-Borough bunch. And then some sort of creative loans from Riley McGree from the US and Clark Salter from Chelsea. Harper, another one from West Brom. And Simmons. It's Karanka's team. He's... and there are proven championship players in there, particularly the likes of the ones he had at Borough, Friend and Clayton, and the keeper, Etheridge. And Hogan had done it at Blues with Jutkovic up top the previous season. And I've always had a sense this season that the group of players were not as high in the table as they really should have been. And it just has not worked at all, has it? And it's goals, lack of, and home form. And there is the home table, and you can see Birmingham rock bottom. They've lost 12 out of 18 home games. The most recent of which was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. The straw's proverbial as well, by the way. 12 points at home for Birmingham. Hopeless. Wickham have got 17. Rotherham have got 15. And that's been the issue. Birmingham's away form's not actually that bad. They've got many more points away from home than they have at home. But they are in danger of going down if Rotherham can make use of their games in hand, which, as I keep reiterating, may or may not happen. But listen to how I'm phrasing this. Birmingham are at risk of going down, serious risk at the moment. And I said goals and home form, and just doesn't seem to have got the balance right here. The Borough teams and the Forest teams used to be able to defend, absorb, but they had people like Graben and people like Nugent up top, and they would take their chances and win games and be frustrating opponents. Birmingham have just been defensive, but if you're defensive and you don't score goals, ergo, you lose games. And if you lose all your home games as well, 12 out of 18 of your home games, you're going to be down near the bottom of the table. It's been a pretty simple equation for Birmingham under Karanka. And as I said, the risk of the drop is real. Obviously, teams who are at the bottom for a reason. And we can't take Rotherham's 4 games and add on 6 points, 8 points, 10 points, because the table says they won't do that. Well, they might, but the table says they won't. What the table does say is that they'll get a point per game because they're 32 for 32, which would then put them above Birmingham. And look then at the Birmingham run-in. Look at this. Reading, 5th place. Watford, 2nd place. Swansea, 3rd place. Brentford, 4th place. Their next 4 games are against 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in no particular order. Then they play Stoke, and then look at that. Rotherham away. Oof. So the doomsday scenario for Blues here is they have a really bad time in those 4 difficult games. Let's give them 1 point from those 4 games. Stoke is always a bind, although they're on the beach, or they will be on the beach, certainly at that point. And then you have this epic, massive face-off with their direct rivals there, Rotherham, assuming the table is still working out the way we suspect it's going to. There is a real risk of the drop, and you start to wonder, is it better with a new guy, or is it better with the guy who's already in there and just try and drag yourselves over the line? Who next? I have absolutely no idea. There's the Trillion Roll of Honour. Obviously, they were heavily criticised for Gary Rowett leaving. I always take that with a pinch of salt. It's not getting rid of a manager that's your issue. It's the person you replace them with, which is normally the issue. And sadly, Zola didn't do well. Redknapp caped them up and then was gone towards the start of the next season. Cotterill, they're down the bottom again. Monk saves them. He's there for a fair while. And do you know what? They weren't that bad under Monk with Adams and Jutkovic up top. But then FFP, Bosch, was it 9 points they got hacked off? And Monk in the end leaves at the start of the next season. Then it was Clotet, wasn't it? Then it was Karanka. What we are seeing, regardless of whether you think they're good hires, bad hires, etc., what we are seeing is, let me count them up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be the 8th manager under Trillion in under 7 years. And what we do know about football and about life in general is that chaos doesn't help with performance. It really, really does not. So, look, I don't know what they're going to do. Whether they're going to go for some kind of journeyman until the end of the season. You let me know who you think and what they'll do. Whether they'll even put anybody in. Whether they're just going to take Karanka out. Remember what we saw with Chancery and Sheffield Wednesday, where it was Neil Thompson for ages and ages. I assume that Gardner will be involved in this somehow. But, hey, your guess is as good as mine, and we'll get word from the club when we get word from the club. So, that is my view. Blues sack Karanka. Again, we'll get word from the club when we get word from the club, but I'm fairly confident to go with this. So, what I would love to know in the comments is, where did it go wrong for Karanka? Who would you have in next? And is this bigger than Karanka? Is this about Trillion and the ownership? And you could put Alf Ramsey, Bobby Robson, Alex Ferguson, Brian Clough, Pep Guardiola, whoever in there. And, you know, owners relegate clubs sometimes, don't they? Regardless of who the management is. Is it bigger than that? Let me know what you think in the comments on another manager to go, or in the process of going, or is gone and soon to be announced, Karanka out of Birmingham. Get involved in the comments. Thank you for watching, and it's a big over and out from me and over and out from Aitor Karanka, sadly. So good luck to him. And yeah, let's get the debate going in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.